Radiant's ban. Ten seconds to go. 5 seconds. Dyer's pick. Radiant's pick.
Hola, bienvenidos. Welcome, everybody, to Infamous versus Known Team. The match just keeps on giving. This is going to be one of our final South America matches that actually potentially has the ability to decide which teams are going to be moving on into the next bracket for South America. My name is Gorgon, the Wonder Cow. You can find me at The Wonder Cow on Twitter. Let me know how the broadcast is working. And I'm going to be joined a little bit later by Toffees. You can find him at Toffees TV, I believe. And he'll correct me if I'm wrong when he gets back. Unknown are really struggling to try and get past the bubble and move into the next round of the qualifiers. They, I believe, just have this last game, and that is in fact true. They have just this last remaining game. If they win here
10 seconds to go.
and Midas Club lose to Lucini, then they will tie and have to do a tiebreaker to move on to the next bracket. So that's a lot of ifs. Let me outline what that basically means. That basically means one of the best teams has to lose to one of the worst teams in terms of performance so far. And then the Infamous, which is the best record of the qualifiers so far, for South America at least, will also have to lose to Unknowns. They don't have a lot of hope, but at least it's in large part still under their control. If they perform well here, they can still potentially move forward. So potentially a lot on the line.
So what you're telling me is this is a much bigger game than the last one we covered, which is exciting.
Yeah, so I mean, arguably the odds of them being able to move still quite slim because Midas Club Elite are very unlikely to lose to Lucini. But upsets have happened in the past. And Unknown Team don't want that upset to happen and then have missed this opportunity to move forward. At the end of the day, when they look at the final tally, they don't want to not move forward because of something they did. They want to not move forward because of something some other team did.
And you have to remember, Lucini in the next game is going to be playing with the nothing to lose mentality, right? Which is always dangerous for a team that's already qualified because that means Lucini can try something totally out of the box, might catch them completely off guard. Like we saw in the last game. I mean, they absolutely crushed their opponents. If Lucini comes in with that confidence,
you
they
said
could win.
Already qualified, but I think you meant to say a team that's already disqualified.
Disqualified, right. So they have nothing to lose because they don't have a chance of advancing. So they can try anything that they want. They can do super crazy push lineups or, Techies Treant 65-minute game if they want to. That is a risk for the established team. So Unknown, like you said, needs to lock this up.
Yeah.
All right.
And, if they happen to move forward on long odds, that all the better for Unknown. Right. So
exactly.
This game could matter is what I'm saying. Looking at the draft, Dazzle, Axe, that's a really good combination to heal, the high armor, the Grave to get more spins out. You've got a Rubik there who's very, very nice up against an Invoker especially. But also you got some pretty decent spells with the Tombstone and potentially a Swapper, a Magic Missile. Looking at Unknown Team's draft, they've got what appears to be a core Vengeful Spirit. An off lane, I'm guessing Abaddon, and that could be an off lane tri lane actually. Venge, Abaddon, and Undying.
You know how I love my tri lanes. Could be a lot of fun to watch. Invoker, I think, really good in the hands of Unknown. We got to see a little bit of that in this tournament so far, if I remember correctly, and it's been it's been effective every single time so far. So Infamous with a tall order to deal with that. Infamous is looking for a mid that can handle Invoker. Who fits well with the sort of Dazzle, Rubik, Axe, but can handle Invoker in the mid lane? Is it going to be Juggernaut? Or do you think they'll safe lane the Jug?
I think that's their safe lane in this case. Invoker has really good range and really good sustain. It's difficult for Juggernaut to really harass him out in any significant way. And although the Juggernaut does have healing, he probably would get zoned out of them.
Right. So TA
taking a
already
look
banned
at-
out, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I would
but
have said TA would have been
TIA
great.
OD would have been an interesting option, but they banned that out themselves. Looking at other mids that might come up that are semi-popular. Maybe a sniper is possible, but that leaves them pretty vulnerable.
It does,
and
but
maybe
they
an
don't have
Alchemist is
they don't have a
popular.
great ganker right now. The swap, yes, on the Venge. If Sniper builds correctly to stay outside of that right click range of that cold snap on Invoker, in theory it could be very strong. Especially because Juggernaut and Axe are going to be up there frontlining like mothers the entire time. So it could work very well, like you said. They could also, I mean, can you see something like a Dusa going into the mid?
No, I don't think that's very
Yeah, well,
likely.
It'd be fun though.
It would be fun. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be fun,
Wait,
Toffees. I'm saying,
Infamous is out of this, so pick a Pudge.
no, Infamous is on top.
Oh, that's
Like,
right.
They,
Infamous needs to win this one.
if they win this, they will absolutely have secured
There you go.
the first seed, which is important because it means they get their choice of their next opponent. So they'll probably be trying as hard as they can here.
And you said they'll get the first seed?
Yeah, they'll get the top. They'll get the top seeding, right?
Ah, that's
Infamous are 7-1, but there are two other 7-1 teams.
Gotcha.
They win
Gotcha.
this, they'll be 8-1, and unless all the other teams also win their games, Infamous would get their first choice of the bottom two opponents.
That makes sense. I guess
That
I didn't.
remain.
I was casting a different game and didn't hear you talk about them beating SG Esports, so that's pretty big. Did they
Yeah.
beat SG specifically, or did
No,
SG
I-
drop to somebody else?
SG lost to Infamous.
Yep.
And
okay.
so there's like a three-way that goes on here. SG lost to Infamous. Infamous lost to Not Today, and Not Today lost
to SG. Gotcha.
Right.
So all three qualify. All three are fighting to be the person who is the top seed, which is very important. That makes sense now. I'm sorry. You probably
confusing.
said that. It is.
If you
man.
needed the clarification, our viewers probably
and then
it's like
imagine
asking a question in class.
Plus, we had to translate all of that from Spanish.
Right. Right.
Life-
Well, it is going to be a Juggernaut mid. It looks like in the Lifestealer farming. I don't love that decision, but if your Juggernaut's confident, I guess I don't see any reason why not.
But where's the initiation for Lifestealer? I mean, what's his plan to get him into the
Axe.
fights?
It's going to be Axe.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's almost as brutal as the Centaur Blink combo has been so popular lately, right?
Yeah, and in some ways it might be more. You don't have to do as much damage before you can just erase him, right?
That's true.
So but at the same time, if your Axe has a slow game, you don't have any fallback plan for that Lifestealer initiation. Now, unlike the last draft that we saw, that worked so well. The Queen of Pain was the vessel for the Lifestealer up until the point in time where the Centaur caught back up and managed to get his Blink Dagger.
So if he's the vessel, who's the Keymaster? That's a Ghostbusters reference.
I know what it was. I know what it was. I couldn't remember the I think it's Gate or I don't.
It was Gatekeeper Keymaster, and then there was like this
Yeah.
weird vessel thing. But it's been a long time since I saw it. The girl version was pretty good too. Ursa picked up here by Unknown Team. A great hero. I like him against the Lifestealer. What do you think about him as their last pick, though?
I think he's a really good pick here. I mean, Ursa has a little bit of difficulty with the Axe in that he wants to attack pretty quickly, and the Axe spins a lot. But ultimately, what you really need is somebody who's going to be able to face up to Lifestealer and knock him down very, very quickly.
Right.
And that's what an Ursa does. Alternatively, they could have gone for something super ranged and just tried to kite the Lifestealer out. But with an Axe in the game, that's a much more dangerous call, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that he'll handle the Juggernaut well. He's a physical damage hero, so Juggernaut's magic resistance isn't going to matter as much as he sort of ramps up his right clicks. So it should be pretty interesting. All right, let's do some quick introductions for these two teams. Guys, my name's Toffees. This is Gorgon the Wonder Cow, and you are watching the Kiev Major Qualifiers for the South American region. For the dire side, Infamous trying to become famous is going to be Wu Dota playing the Dazzle. In the mid, it's going to be Ryuko. Going under smoke right away is the Juggernaut. Benhas as the Lifestealer. We're going to have Whale 52 playing the Rubik. And last but certainly not least, Axe will be spinning around on Melancholy.
All right, in here, Unknown on the radio side, we've got Jamari. And he is going to be mixing it up on the Invoker. Hello, Senorito is going to be swapping us out on the Vengeful Spirit. No Name is on the Abaddon. Dash is on the Undying. And Quince Añitos is going to be stomping on the Ursa.
So those are the lineups as this game gets underway. It should be a pretty good one as Infamous is looking to lock up that top spot. They got to get the win. We saw a little bit of a breakdance there by EVGA, or by Dash, spam taunting, having a good time.
So there was a really nice little heads-up play that happened here earlier.
Yeah.
In that the Sunstrike went out to scout, and it landed after Infamous had already smoked. And the second that happened, the Invoker started spam pinging down here because he knew, oh, everybody from Infamous must be under cover of smoke because I saw nothing with the Sunstrike in the fountain. So they probably came down and advance warded us. And so, you know, they're aware that some sort of shenanigans went on. They don't know exactly what, but every little bit of information is helpful. And
they did get an advanced ward down, but I think it's the one that opposite of where they expected it to be, as Dazzle advanced warded smartly the opposite push. Now, what? Dash goes in and taunt walks into Infamous's wrecking him.
He's going to taunt walk all the way back to the fountain. That was a very silly mistake.
I don't know if that's the signal of a clowny game about to happen or just an honest mistake. Anitos puts himself in a tough position, fakes a move to the side shot. What? All right, and now Whale backs away, so Dash has returned with the TP. Anito's looking to play a little bit aggressive in the mid lane. It is going to be a matchup between the Invoker and the Juggernaut, so exactly the opposite of what we thought was going to happen. They ends up sending the Juggernaut down there and saying, let's just deal with it. Aggressive try versus classic try, just like you called. Meanwhile, up on top, Dash got very low, was able to survive because of the Aphotic Shield, but it looks like Anitos could be in some trouble. They're moving around on him, picked up, thrown back into the group, and this will be the end of him. Rubik will go down, but in return, they get the Ursa, so they're happy about it. This is interesting. Bloodbath, South American Bloodbath, as expected.
I mean, we're seeing already, just through these movements, the reason that Infamous is done so well so far in this bracket, right? They are very cohesive in these fights. They are picking and pulling apart at Unknown teams, and Unknown, meanwhile, is just discoing their way.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say it's because the other teams they've played have all taunt-walked themselves into death. But
you know, I haven't seen every SA game. I've seen half of them. This is the first time I've seen that, but...
Gank in the mid, nice rotation here, pick up, throw down. Rubik doing some good plays. They catch the Invoker, and it's now 3-1 across the map as the guys from Infamous playing like they want to secure a top spot. The guys from Unknown, just having some fun out here.
Yeah, the guys from Unknown need to turn this around relatively sooner, or this is going to be very difficult to
Speaking
recover.
of turning around, Ursa tries to turn around and run away, but gets caught by the call and will be laid out for a funeral. The viewing to be had shortly in about 3 seconds. Gold lead at 1,500, XP at 1,000.
Unknown is already starting to panic because the Ursa left this safe lane. He doesn't know where to go, and then he immediately died in another lane. What do you do at this juncture? I'm not sure, but a Lifestealer is a very difficult to handle momentum-based hero, being handled by one of South America's most notable players, right?
Yeah.
Juggernaut also just destroys towers if he gets off to a good start.
And so far, he's off to a very good start. The score is 4-1. Looking at those last hits, you're going to see 1, 3, and 4 on the farm list are all red, and that's going to be an issue because Invoker's the only person who's having a marginally decent laning phase, and that's against a Juggernaut who's actually doing pretty well considering he's not favored in this lane.
Yeah, in terms of net worth, the top 4 are on Infamous. Granted, it's by a slim margin, but you don't want your opponent's Dazzle to be above your at any stage of any game.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of, they're going to try to fix that right now as they make a move on Dazzle, looking for the gank. Dazzle on the run. Does not have the Shallow Grave up right now, but has the heal. Infamous comes back around, so Whale 32 going to put some harassment on the non-tombstone Undying, and he will keep moving forward, throws up the taunt, and walks away because he loves that taunt.
I wonder if his team is as annoyed by that as I am, just having to listen.
Listen to the dance music. Listen, you just don't appreciate disco tech at the level.
Yeah, I do have to say this lane is not very well equipped to handle this sort of aggression, right? And Ursa's at this stage of the game can have a lot of damage output, but they have no way to catch anybody.
Right.
They don't have a orb of venom on anybody.
They
Here
did
we
get the
go.
stun.
Well, that's not even going to be enough.
Shallow
They
Grave
only
TP.
have the one stun. Yeah.
So, Shallowgrave TP to safety, not going to be able to stop him. Away he goes. The taunts will continue, but the kills will not. Perhaps if he spent a little more time at the Biblioteca and less at the Discoteca, they'd be doing a little bit better.
Mid, Invoker's just going to die.
Yeah, we watched
just
it.
Dead.
Dead. DED. 1 to 5. Goldie's almost at 3,000 now for Infamous. XP is at 2. And,
that's a lot for 4 minutes in the game. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
That is. It sounds like a small number. You're like, oh, 3,000. That's almost 1,000 a minute.
Mm-hmm. Hey, there's a taunt again.
at a stage of the game where items are much less expensive, right? Oh man, this is not going well for Unknown, and they absolutely need to win this to be mathematically have a chance.
Right. Do you think
And
they
it's
know
still
that they have a
some
chance? You think that they know? I don't know.
I'm not sure that they know. They're not playing like they know. I'll tell you that.
Dash is playing like he's just having a good time. It would be very interesting if some things fell the wrong way and they actually got their shot and missed it because they clowned out a little bit at the start. That said, it looks like they're not completely off their rocker, or are they? As Jamar gets caught out, Ryoku throws him back down. Not going to chase him, though. He goes in Viz, so they're not going to try to get the spin blind. Meanwhile, on the bottom, another rotation. Dash comes forward, thinks about fighting here. They want to play with the axe, but Dazzle's always on standby. Look at him. He's trolling him.
Ursa? Look, they're all dropping their items.
Mm.
Yeah, this is ultimate clowning.
Yep.
They're trying to bait something, maybe, or maybe they're just being clowny. I mean, Unknown, this is a different group than the one that was on Unknown at the Frankfurt Major.
Yeah.
But it's still the same banner, right? It's still Unknown, and apparently they have not changed their attitude towards clowning around.
Okay. I didn't. Were they pretty clowny at Frankfurt during the qualifiers?
Oh yeah. They would like run out and drop all their items.
Well, it seems like maybe it's a staple of some of the regional play, but 15 throws it down, comes forward again. He's going to get wrapped around on by Axe. Axe says, oh, misses the call. The Jukies.
Yeah,
the jungle.
There's going to need a lot of Jukies here.
He's got him. He's super Juki.
Nice. Well played.
Well played.
Now drop some of your items in celebration or something.
All right, smoke rotation coming out of Dash and Hello. They're going to come straight down towards the bottom. Looks like they want to get some play. Put up a scan to see where they are in the jungle. They're going to pop up some vision. They find Axe, or does Axe find them? Really, look based on how you look at it. Tombstone is not available. It's down, so they'll clear it out real quick as they weren't out of position to use it. Moving on Dash. Dash is slowed. Has time to taunt as he runs for safety. Nice high ground.
There's always time to taunt, Toffees. There's always time to taunt.
Feels like reminds me of high school basketball.
I feel like if I were to look at Undying's keyboard, it would be the QWER buttons and then just one big extra button in the middle of the keyboard that you just hit it and you taunt.
The fact is he's hitting it on cooldown, which is actually mildly impressive because it means that he's either watching it or spamming it.
Right, yeah. He might just like have it on his mouse, just shaking his hand wildly trying to get that. He's holding on to it now, though.
All right, they're going to go for the fight. Looks like a shallow grave to get himself out. Ursa, though, doesn't care. Wanted to finish, decides not to continue with the Dazzle. Chasing on. Dazzle stopped for the heal, but will still get away. The Sunstrike not going to do it. And now it's Anitos who's too far forward. Rupert picks him up, throws him back. He's running. Can he get away? No, he can't. That is a dead Ursa yet again. Let's go to net worth. You're going to see 1, 2, 3. Infamous.
So... This is the cautionary tale about always being a good support. Wu Dota stopped to heal his core when he could have run for his life. It threatened his well-being because the Ursa was diving him. But by doing so, he dodged the Sunstrike. If you're a support, always support your cores.
All right, so the game a little bit interesting in terms of what we've seen in the past, but fun, I suppose. Benhaz getting away from Anitos, who's playing very aggressively. No big surprise there, as he seems to have a little worry about the counter gank, but it's going to come right in. Melikani gets the call. There's the Infest for a bit of heal. Infest will pop back out here in just a second. I don't know if he's going to be trolling Anitos with the body blocks there. Anitos turns back around, hits Melancholy again. Melancholy wants the axe. He actually gets the kill. Benhaz walks away. I have no idea what just happened there.
it's a nice boon. Like the Ursa just got 500 gold from that one kill, but only because they're pretty far behind. They're 5,000 net worth behind, short of 10 minutes. Even the Ursa is just like, this is just starting to get pretty out of control.
They're
the bad
question
Mammoths.
marking each
Question
other.
mark.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting. Look at that. So in the mid right now, you've got Undying is going to do his taunt dance around the farmers in the middle. Both teams throwing up some smiley faces. I suppose that this is maybe it's cultural. Maybe in North America that's a BM, but in South America it's a having some funsies.
No, it's definitely a BM because
What is no le hagos caso, please?
it means just ignore him or pay him no mind, something like that, something along those lines. Yeah, and then. Yeah.
I can guess what the
Question mark,
means.
question mark. Oh, just ignore him, please.
All right,
And
so we see
you can guess what da pena is.
Invoker walks away. Ankh comes forward with the dash, throws down the tombstone, but not going to get much out of it. Just taunts in a circle. Tombstone taunt, I guess. Ryoku comes forward, puts some damage up on dash, wants to try to make the chase happen. It's a strange dichotomy. It's like Unknown is troll feeding, but also playing pretty effective defense.
Yeah, I honestly, I think they're not troll feeding. I think they're getting played, and they're showing moments where, oh look, when we focus and take the game seriously, we can actually be a pretty good team.
I can see that. That makes sense. All right, so by the way, 6,000 now for Infamous. XP plus 4,000. There's a gank coming around from Manito's on the bottom, and this is a good example of when they're not getting outplayed. They make some good rotations. Up on top, though, it looks like they want to dive for Ankh. The Abaddon gets his ultimate pop. Ben Haas goes ahead and gets some farm while he waits for it to turn off. Wu Dota going to be on standby. He's got the Shallow Grave up if needed. No rotations coming out to save the Abaddon, so he will
Wow,
be
the deny.
Ooh, very nice deny. Where'd the deny come from? I did himself.
Were you watching the Abaddon, or were you watching? He
The
used
Abaddon.
miscoil to deny himself.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
That
So
takes-
I wasn't
that takes
sure
some
if
pretty
you
good-
were asking where it was or what denied it.
I don't know if he had managed to hit the timing perfectly or somebody had TP'd in that I didn't notice, but yeah, so a very
But
nice.
It's a level 1 miscoil, so he denied himself within a 75 damage threshold.
Right, which I think is pretty impressive considering the damage he was
it's
taking.
not easy. Yeah,
So,
it's not easy with two people attacking him.
That's a good play coming out of Unknown. Gold lead is still rising in Infamous's favor. Anita's in a little bit of danger here. Tosses his gear on the ground, trying to tempt them forward for it. There's the call, though, so they're going to go in on him. He might not even have time to grab his stuff. He goes down. And it looks like, wow, Invoker rage quit.
What?
Look, if you scroll up,
GGWP.
after he went forward and dropped his items, they got both of them. Ursa has no items left. He grabbed his windlace, but not his boots. And then Invoker just quit.
And they're done. They said GG. And then they just
So it would not
out.
surprise me if this roster changes again very, very soon.
This is the sort of stuff that the old Unknown roster was known for, too. It's
Jeez
why nobody ever
Louise.
took them seriously. Like, they kind of lucked into getting into Frankfurt. That, like, honestly, they played pretty well for a couple matches and then just kind of lucked out in a few of them, got some good RNG. Made it to Frankfurt, didn't seem to take it very seriously, got absolutely thrashed, and were immediately dropped by Unknown. And this new Unknown roster seems to have attracted a very similar caliber of player.
Unknown trying to get their rosters up and running. It's just not going to happen.
Admin, what do we do now? Okay, so,
I mean, shouldn't it just... Oh, because it's a private lobby, so it's not just going to end the game.
well, it should end the game if they said GG, WP, but...
He might have canceled it and then
somebody
left.
Canceled it before they left, yeah.
How interesting.
I will get...
Well, all
I'm
right.
going to go talk to some admins. Why don't you go ahead and fill some time?
Okay, guys. We are filling time here with Infamous as they played a very good game against 5 bots. I don't know what to say about that. You see a team like this, you see Unknown go in, and I feel bad for the Invoker because if you really look at the net worth, if we were going to tail the tape at the end, we'll see it. Invoker played really well in middle. You could tell that he was trying to win this game, and it felt like the Undying and the Ursa just didn't take it seriously, didn't care to take it seriously. We're here because they had to be. Undying clearly fed the first kill on purpose and put them in a position where they just couldn't win. Invoker angrily, for those of you who might have missed it, said GG and then just disconnected. So Unknown may be unteamed after this, or unsponsored at the very least, from sort of a showing that's really embarrassing. I mean, I don't even know where to go with that.
Yeah, and this is a pretty rough situation if you're an Infamous, because you just want to go, you just want it done, but like they don't want to break the tournament rules. They're actually, I think they're being very professional about this. They're pausing. They're potentially waiting for the other team instead of just like.
Are the tournament rules that you have to pause if there's a disconnect?
I don't think those are the rules, but like it is very. They just want to make sure that they're crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's.
Yeah,
right?
Well, I respect that. Especially in the situation that they're in, right, where they want to make sure they secure the top position. I mean, I guess they could be safe to just unpause and grind their way to the end if that's what they need to do. That's pretty crazy, though. I don't know, man. I think I hesitate to speak against teams, right, or sort of trash builds and pro players, but it's one of those things where you're just like, man, if you're part of an emerging region, South America has a bad rap in so many places, deserved or undeserved. You want to see them do well in tournaments like this, right? You want to see them build credibility for the team, for the region. You want to see them emerge as a potential competitor, and we're seeing that. We've got 3 teams in this major right now. They're doing a phenomenal job, Infamous being one of them, sort of representing South America, and then the other half of the South American teams do this, and it hurts, you know what I mean? Like, this is what they're going to talk about. They're not going to talk about Infamous's phenomenal play in the early game. They're going to talk about Unknown's bad manners.
Right. Yeah. If anybody is even still watching the game, which honestly people are starting to move forward.
Yeah, it may be nice. I mean, we've actually had more viewers come into the stream since this happened. So it's one of those things where it's just like it's definitely frustrating for, I think, us as a group of people who want to see South American Dota grow and do well, and sponsors want to invest money to develop those teams, right? I mean, that's sort of it, is Unknown's investing to try and develop the region, and they get stuck with this.
Yeah, and like I have for a long time been on the South American bandwagon in that you and I, when we first started getting casting a long time ago, there was no viewership, English language viewership for South America. And all the English language casters that were coming up with us would always complain with the behind the scenes when they got South American. I was never, I always tried to talk to the teams. I always tried to invite them in, and the fans as well.
I mean, you learned Spanish to help better cast the region.
What's that?
You learned Spanish so that you could better cast the region.
Exactly. I learned Spanish. No, I happen to know a little Spanish, but
that's not as cool then.
Yeah, I learned Spanish so that I could conduct my pubs bilingually. Really, all the Spanish that I still know is honestly the only actual practice I get is in Dota. So thank God for Peru. Otherwise, I'd be losing a language. Arguably already lost. Anyway, I've been on the bandwagon for South America for a long time, but it's stuff like this that makes it really, really hard. Even though South America is routinely outclassed, you can make the argument there's so much talent there, and there are fans chomping at the bit
to support them.
Yeah. But if you have teams that are coming to an event of this caliber and regularly having this kind of a behavioral problem, it undermines the entire region. People don't want to watch the region because they don't think the games are serious. It undermines the competitive viability of scrim partners and stuff. Like, if I'm Infamous, I would be livid, to be quite honest. Like, talk about the lack of respect for your opponent. Like, the Dota and competitive gaming in a big way is it's a very trash talk oriented field, but at the end of the day, it's very much about respecting your opponent and having the spirit of competition, fair competition.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not just about that. It's also about the other two teams. Not Today and SG Gaming should both be furious, because this potentially had ramifications on that 7-1 showdown at the end for who finishes in the top. So it's something where if Unknown, who's not a bad team, I mean, they have potential, had come out and upset Infamous like we talked about, that would have been a potential for them to advance, and more importantly, been great for SG and for Not Today. So Rubico resumed the game just